Hello and welcome to Encrypted Inc. I am your host, Dan Encrypted, decrypting ASX and crypto for you. Let's start off with some shout outs. Perth Crypto Group and Perth Crypto Crew, thank you for your support. You guys are legends. Also a shout out and special mention to one of my viewers, Andrew. Andrew is my building manager at one of the properties that I own. Thank you for your message, mate, about taking your gains on BTC. You've been obviously watching my videos and yeah, it would have been a great time to do that. As you all know from my previous video, you saw what happened to BTC. So he's taken his gains and he's walked away and he's a happy man. Why? Because if he didn't, he would have seen those unrealized gains disappear. So that was from my episode 2 video about taking your gains and why that is important and why that is a golden rule in my particular investment strategy. Now let's delve deeper into that, and I'm going to get to that in episode 3 of my Secrets Reveal, which is what we're going to get to today, which is also not only just taking your gains as you go, but understanding that markets work in cycles. And we're going to talk about that in my episode 3, which is in this video later in the video. All right, I promised you an ASX market update, and I'm going to give you one. And it's going to be very brief, and I'm also going to go into what's happening in the US markets just briefly as well. So if you saw my last video, I pretty much said that the American Wall Street markets were in the red. And yes, they were. And what did I say? It'll probably have a negative effect on our market. And yes, it did. Yet again, there's the ASX 200. It closed negative 0.24%. No surprises there, considering the American market had a bit of a downward trend. Now, the ordinaries did exactly the same. Just to give you an update what the American market's doing now. Again, we're seeing it in the red. Now, why is this happening? So this that's the market update for ASX. So why is this happening? What's the big question? Well, this is now Secrets Revealed episode 3. We're starting that. And the one thing I want to talk about here is market cycles and market cycles explained. So what is a market cycle? All right, let's delve into it. Let's start with the S&P 200 index. Now we can go back in history here. This is a 1-year chart. Now I'm going to go all the way back, even before COVID. Okay. And I want to show everyone something which you may not be aware of. We'll start from here. I could go back even further, but look, we have to start at one point. So let's start here. Right, so here's an entry point into a market. And what have you seen over this time? The market's been pretty bullish over this time, hasn't it, right? It gets to a certain point, and then what happens? It becomes very bearish. Bearish, bearish, bearish. This is a market cycle. That's a you could call this a bullish cycle here, right here. But then what happens? It becomes very bearish at some point in time. Down, down, down it goes. Then it does the same thing. It's another cycle. It continues to go up and up and up and up. And then again it hits a point and again it becomes very, very bearish along that time, and then it does the same again. It's just a cycle. It keeps repeating. In my last market update, I said history repeats itself. It does consistently. Over years and years and years, markets have been around. They continually do the exact same thing. So this is why I'm giving you this Secrets Revealed episode 3 about market cycles and understanding what happens. What happened here? Look, this isn't your typical market cycle here in the S&P ASX 200. This is a world event, and I'm going to get to that. As to also why it is important to take your gains as you go. Not only is it because of what I mentioned in episode 2, if you had seen that video, FUD, I mentioned market cycles, which I'm explaining to you now. But on a third thing, which I didn't mention, which I'm going to mention now, is world events. And this is one right here. This was COVID. This is when COVID grasped the world, and it's an effect on the market. So why is that important to take your gains as you go? Because if you did over this time, say you, again, invested way back here, and a world event happens, because we don't know the future, guys. You know, death and taxes are the only certainties in life. Other than that, anything can happen in the future. If you invested back here, you may as well had your money in the bank. Why? Because COVID hit, took all your gains away. If you weren't taking your gains as you go, and you're a typical hodler and just basically saying, yes, okay, I'm going to buy this and just hold on to it. You know, don't worry about it. It'll be fine, you know? Well, I agree on that strategy, and I'll explain to you my strategy to investing, which incorporates both a trader's aspect of a strategy as well as a hodler's aspect of strategy. And this is a strategy that I've put together and works for me. I incorporated both strategies in both of them into my own strategy, which I feel works great for me. I mean, I'm not saying that a trader is not doing the right thing. Traders do an excellent job. In fact, they look on a very short time frame, so they're in and out of the market. So I essentially am doing that as I go, but I'm doing it on a larger time scale. And a hodler is basically just saying, look, I'm just going to hold, continuously hold. And that's okay too. I'm not dissing what a hodler does, but I think you have to be smarter as a hodler. And if you're looking at doing what I do, which is sort of like hodling and trading on a larger time scale, you've got to be smart at that too. And in understanding that, you need to understand market cycles, FUD, and world events. Okay, so like you can see here, this is now where we're at the moment. So we've gone and seen COVID. We've hit an upward trend here. Okay, and we've gone through a massive bull run. But as you can see, I mean, I can see it here. It looks like we're tapering off again here on the S&P 200 index. The indexes in America are turning red. The All Ordinaries is doing the same thing. And if you want to see market cycles on the All Ordinaries, I'll show you. Look, it's the same again. There. Going back even further. Look, you can see it there, and there, downward. Okay. Now I'm going to dwell too much on that. So what does this tell you? Sorry, again with my computer. Poor little thing. All right, what does this tell you here? Okay, if the American markets are seeing red, if the Australian markets are starting to see red, if we're starting to taper off here, what potentially could happen to the S&P ASX 200 index, and the All Ordinaries index, and as a whole to Australian commodities shares and other shares within the Australian stock market? Well, we could possibly see what we've seen previously in history. You know, we might start seeing a little bit of a downward trend here. We might start seeing it maybe a sideways, it could be even a sideways consolidation period. Okay? Either way, it's either going to be a correction or consolidation along here. All right, now let's look at other markets. Let's go into, this is the Dow Jones. So, I mean, you can see the same cycles are happening within the Dow Jones. You can see them here. Correction, consolidation, correction. So it's all the same. Okay, it all runs in cycle. Bitcoin and Ethereum, what have we seen here? Cycle, bull run, up, downwards, correction. Now, you have to be aware that crypto is very different also to the ASX and also to, Wall Street American markets. Why? Because you see larger gains in crypto, right? That's a fact. We've seen it in the past. People enjoy crypto because the gains potentially can be larger during a particular cycle. Yes, look at the gain here. It's quite sharp. So what I do is look, if we've gone through a run and we're tapering off and we're starting to see some sort of correction or consolidation during this period, what is important to me? Well, the next step for me is I want to be ahead of the game. I want to know, where is this market going to finish? What can I anticipate to be potentially an entry level back into the market so I can get in for the next cycle? Okay. Now, I've already drawn something up here, and I'm not going to get into that and get into what I do to try and determine that in this episode. I am going to talk about it though in my next episode. And what I'm going to talk about typically what a trader, the tools traders use to try and determine entry and exit points within a short time frame. Now, I'm using those same techniques, but in a longer time period. Generally, what I'm interested in is I want to know when is going to be the next cycle? When are we going to see another clear upward trend in price? Okay, not looking at a very, very short time frame, which is what a trader does, and full respect to traders who do that. I'm looking at when are we going to see another potential bull run? When's the market going to really turn bullish over a cycle, over a period? Okay, and what I use to determine that is Fibonacci levels, moving averages, just in particular a trend level, what's happening, to the market, in maybe even a shorter period of time. So what I'll do is I'll start zooming in on this, maybe into this sort of area here, from when we've seen a tapering off from the bull market, and I'm just going to start plotting away and start trying to anticipate when my next entry point is. Okay, and I've already started with that, and this can change a little bit over time, but it could change depending on what's happening in the market at like a shorter time frame, but not as short as maybe what a trader would look at. A typical trader would look at a very, very, very short time frame. Okay, so I'm going to get into that in episode 4 of Secrets Revealed. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the support I've been receiving. It's been phenomenal. Thank you to everyone. Perth Crypto crew, thank you. Perth Crypto Group, thank you. Andrew, thank you for your kind support. And to everyone that's been just so supportive along the way, I have to thank all of you for that, because, that's what's making me continue doing this. I had no intention of doing this from the start. And I'm doing it now. I was simply just doing this on my own and just keeping it all to myself. But now, you know what? I'm going to tell everyone. So I'm going to tell everyone what I do. Whether you take it on board or not, it's completely up to you. You don't have to do what I do. But if you want to, stay tuned, and I'll tell you everything about what I do and why I do it this way. But if you want to stick to your own strategy, that's fine. I respect that, whether it be a hodler, whether it be a trader. But basically, my strategy is incorporating what both a hodler and a trader may do, and then just refining both of those techniques to maybe work a little better in the longer term. But if you still want to do trading, that I respect that. If you still want to be a hodler, I completely respect that. So thank you once again for tuning in. My name's Dan Encrypted. You can get me on Facebook at Dan Encrypted. You can find me on Instagram, which is just a bit about my workspace and what charts I'm looking at the time. That's also Dan Encrypted. I'm on Twitter at Dan the Encrypted Man. You are watching this YouTube channel, which is Dan Encrypted Inc. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and yeah, the more viewers I get, the more I will share with you, the more I will basically try to help you in your investment journey, because I'm here for you. This is a journey for me to start this channel. I had no intentions of absolutely doing this whatsoever. I was happy with what I was doing before, but you know what? I figured, why not just share it with people? So that's what I'm doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. You'll see another video from me very shortly. And God bless, and yeah, enjoy life. Be social, you know. It's not all that bad out there. You just got to make the most of it. Thanks. Bye.